There's a memory I can't shake. I don't know why this one specifically, of all the things from my childhood, but it's the one that keeps coming back lately as I approach fatherhood. In this memory, I'm somewhere around 8, maybe 9 years old. I'm in the living room playing video games with my siblings, and then we hear the sound of my dad's Volkswagen Beetle, and without even thinking about it, we drop the controllers at the exact same time and turn the console off, quietly, quickly, like we practiced it. My dad was home. And we all already knew, instinctively, that the relaxed and fun part of the day was over. I'm going to be a father in October. We're having a boy. It's something my wife and I wanted and planned for a long time. We tried for a while, and when we found out it was happening, after everything we'd been through, including a failed start over in a different country that put us into life-changing debt, it felt like the universe was finally giving us something good. So we're excited. I want to be clear about that because this video might not always sound like it, but we are excited. We've been picking out names, we're thinking about his things and teaching ourselves how to do stuff. We're imagining the version of our life that has him in it. And I'm terrified. Not in the normal, I'm gonna be a dad and I don't know what I'm doing kind of way. That is there too, but that's a very universal feeling. No, underneath there's something more specific, and I think I need to talk about it to figure it out. I'm afraid I'm gonna be like my dad. This is a complicated thing to talk about, and I'm not interested in painting my father as a villain because he wasn't one. My dad gave us everything. We never lacked anything growing up. Food was on the table, we had lots of toys and gifts, bills were paid, he worked constantly, long hours, hard work, the kind of work that hollows you out by the time you're 40. He traveled a lot too, sometimes for weeks at a time. And whatever we needed, we got. Whatever we wanted within reason, we got. By the metric of provision, which is probably the metric that mattered most to him, and I feel should matter the most to me, he was a good father. He showed up. He didn't leave. He worked himself to the bone so we wouldn't have to feel what he had probably felt growing up. But he was also tired and serious and often angry. When he was home, the whole house went quiet because we knew. We'd learned. We turned off the games, we didn't make much noise, we didn't go into the kitchen between meals because he thought we'd get fat and he didn't like that. We weren't allowed to be the kids we wanted to be in our own house because his version of the house was the one that mattered when he was in it. And sometimes, if we forgot, if we got too loud or too restless or too kid-like, we'd get smacked for it. Not abused, not in the way that word usually gets used, just smacked here and there a couple times. Most times with a belt too, enough to remind us what the rules were. And I do think that most kids my age, from where I'm from at least, got this kind of treatment. The thing is, I don't think he ever thought he was being cruel. I think he genuinely believed that was just how you raise kids. Noise needed to be controlled, that children needed structure, that love looked like provision and discipline, and that softness was something that other fathers did, fathers who raised weak children. The part that's been sitting with me is that I don't hate him for any of it. To this day, I still call him every other week. I do understand where he came from. I understand the world he was raised in. I understand that the love was underneath the harshness, even when we couldn't feel it. I know he was doing what he thought was right, but it cost something. When I think back to the version of me that was a kid, the thing I remember most is the alertness, the constant low-level scanning of his mood. The way joy was always conditional on what time it was and where he was in the house. The way sometimes everybody was just happy and laughing and then suddenly nobody was. That's what I learned childhood was. I think on some level, I'm still learning it. So now I'm about to have a son, and I find myself thinking all the time about what version of me he's going to grow up scanning for. Because I have my dad's temper. I do. I can feel it. I've been told. I can feel it when I'm tired too, when I'm stressed, when the dad is loud and the days are long. There's a sharpness in me that comes out, and I recognize it because I grew up around it. I learned how to read it on someone else. And now I can feel it from the inside, and I know what it does to the people in front of me, even when I don't mean for it to. And I'm afraid that no matter how much I want to be different, no matter how much I swear I won't be like him, my son is going to walk into the living room one day, hear my voice in another room, and drop his controller like I did. That's the fear. Now, to the other reason why I do not feel ready. The acceptable version, maybe. The financial one. I'm in a lot of debt. By any reasonable financial measure, this is not a great time to have a child. We don't have any savings. We don't have a cushion. We have a baby coming and a mountain of payments and a plan that depends on me out-earning my own past, which I'm trying to do, but is just not a sure thing yet. That's the readiness most people will assume I'm talking about, and it's real. I won't pretend it isn't. But I could become financially ready and still not be ready in the ways that actually matter. Money can be earned. Debt can be paid. The harder readiness is the one nobody can budget their way into. I haven't done the work to heal what my own father gave me. I haven't sat with the trauma. I have talked about it in the past with my wife and some close friends, but it's always in a lighthearted way, yeah, it happened, but guess what, I don't care and it doesn't affect me anymore kind of way. But the fear is there, that I haven't learned in any real way how to be a man who isn't the man my dad was. I just promised myself I'd be different, the way every son of every difficult father has promised himself, and I hoped that promising would be enough. The truth is, it probably isn't. I'm going to say something now that I don't really want to say, but I feel like the reason this channel reaches people's souls is that I don't leave out parts I'm ashamed of. So here it is. A couple of times since we found out about the pregnancy, I've caught myself thinking, just for half a second, that if something happened, if we lost him, we could try again later. When we have less debt, when I've done the internal work, when I'm actually ready. And I hate that I've had that thought. Every time it comes into my head, the guilt is so heavy, I feel like I can't move. Because I love this baby. We tried for so long. He is wanted. He is so wanted. But I've had the thought, and pretending I haven't would be lying to you and lying to myself. The thought doesn't reflect how I actually feel about him. It reflects how unprepared I feel to receive him. It isn't about him, it's about me. It's about my fear, about my inadequacy. I've never said any of this out loud before, and I've never said this out loud before. I don't know if it's the kind of thing you're supposed to admit, but I suspect I'm not the only man in history who has ever thought it. So I'm telling you, in case you've thought it too, and you've been carrying it alone the way I have. I asked myself recently what actually stopped me from being the version of me I want to be by the time he gets here, and the honest answer is I think I'm just a little lazy. Not lazy in the work sense, I work plenty. Lazy about the inner work, lazy about therapy, about reading the books and doing the journaling and having the hard conversations with myself and with my wife. Lazy in the way most men are lazy, where we'll work 80 hours a week to avoid spending one of them truly looking at ourselves. The version of me I want to be by October is calmer, more present, slower to anger, more patient. Someone who knows what triggers his temper and how to interrupt it before it lands on someone else. Someone who says the hard things to his wife instead of carrying them alone. Someone who isn't lying about the debt. Someone who isn't pretending he's fine when he isn't. Someone stoic. And I'm not him yet. I'm not even close to him. And I only have 4 months left. I don't want to leave this video sounding like I don't want my son. I do. I want him so much it scares me. I want to raise a kid who is honest and strong and smart. I want to play games with him. I want to read to him. I want to read with him. I want to teach him things and watch him figure out things in the world and be there in a way my dad just never quite was. I want him to grow up in a house where joy isn't conditional on which adult is home. I want to be the man who deserves the kid who's about to show up. I'm just not him yet. I keep thinking about the little boy in the living room turning off the console, and I keep promising him, the kid version of me, that I won't do that to my son. But I know promises aren't enough. I know I need to actually become someone who isn't the man my dad was. And that's slower and harder than any of the financial stuff. Because it doesn't have a budget or a deadline or a number. It's not a math problem. It just has me and how much I'm willing to change. 4 months from now, there's going to be a kid in our house who has no idea what his father is afraid of. Who's going to love me unconditionally for a while just because I'm his. whose entire understanding of what a man is, what love is, what home feels like, is going to start with what I show him. I want to be ready for that. But I think wanting to be ready might be the part my dad never had. And maybe if I can hold on to that, if I can keep wanting it loud enough to actually do something about it, it'll start to be soon enough. Or it won't. I'm trying not to lie to you about that either. I'm not there yet, but he's coming and I'm trying. Take care of yourself and your loved ones.